Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill Dement, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall drywall repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's a good day. We're talking business, but a different aspect of business. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a business owner, but boy, this is as business as it gets.
It's about as business as it gets, you're right. And we talk a lot about how a small business owner can kind of grow and what's the secret sauce. And I got to tell you, one of the first things we talk about is you have to join a chamber, a local business chamber in your local area. So we have the pleasure of having Andrew Cole, who is the president and CEO of the East Orlando Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, welcome in.
Thank you.
We are so glad you are here today. And obviously, Andrew and I have known each other for many years, and we've been a member of the chamber for a long time.
Yeah, for quite a while. Yeah.
So great to have you, Andrew. Thanks for being here today.
Yes,
thanks. Appreciate the invitation and having an opportunity to share some stuff with you and help some folks out.
Yeah, we're looking forward to kind of learn more about the chamber and why business owners should think about using the chamber. So, but first, why don't you just talk about yourself a little bit and kind of where you came from and how you ended up in this role as the president and CEO of the chamber?
Oh, it's a long, drawn-out story, but my background came from many different avenues. In fact, my experience with the chamber actually came when I joined or was hired by the chamber. So I didn't have previous chamber experience, which I wish I did, as we have interns who and when they come into they've never known about what a chamber does or what we have. And they're so amazed when they get out of all the possibilities and the people they meet and the things that they do. Mm-hmm. And I wish I had that experience when I was coming out of college and realizing the opportunities that are there. So my background is I graduated college and I actually painted football fields at the Orange Bowl Stadium in Miami. Then I became a groundskeeper at a nursing home. And one day the administrator came to me and said, you got this college education in sports management was my major. And, he came up with a problem in a purchasing department and said, can you put your head together for me? I got this problem. See what you think about over the weekend and give me one or two things you think you might be able to do to solve that problem. So, I'm sitting on the lawnmower tractor and thinking about it. And on Monday, I gave him a list of 10, and I started about 4 months later as the purchasing agent for the second largest nursing home in South Florida. Wow. So not knowing anything about purchasing, but understand business from my management and business degree, did that, took that, saved him $25,000 in the first year, revamped, retooled the whole purchasing aspect of the whole facility, and did all the purchasing there except for food. So I always have had a love for food. James knows this. We talk about food all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And was sitting with the director of food services there, and he said, you're cut out for the restaurant business. Or he said, you're a people person. You understand numbers and budgets and can manage folks and revamp and tool, and you're creative. And so one day I went to a job fair, and it was all on hospitality restaurants, and I had no experience. So they ask you for your resume, and they're like, "Oh, you can't work here." Needless to say, long story short on that, I was talking with a great friend of mine and became a great friend of mine, Gary Solar, and he was interviewing me or talking to me, and he goes, "Do you have any questions for me?" I said, "Yeah. So how do I break into this business?" And he goes, "Son, if you're talking to me, we've hired you." And I was the only one hired by Fridays that whole weekend that they had that. And I was the first manager ever hired by TGI Fridays without any restaurant experience.
Wow.
So that kind of took me to a whole nother level where I learned a lot about another size business. And this is now, running my own business in a sense when I got to the GM level, but learned all about food cost and more management and more business and how to control things and seeing it from a large corporation size. So I had a large business experience with the nursing home, which had 300 employees, to now, billion-dollar company working my own restaurant, which was doing $5.5 million a year, to where I ended up with moving forward. So leaving the restaurant just real quick, my daughter was born and the company was changing directions and it kind of was losing identity. And my mentors and friends like Gary and Kathleen, they all kind of were retiring early or jumping ship or whatever you want to call it, and kind of saw the writing on the wall. And I said, it's time for me to go too. And I became a dad for 2 years, volunteered with the Orlando Main Street programs, especially in College Park. And through that, they had expanded the Main Street program, and I became first program director for one of the Main Street programs. I was the first one there to get all of their funds raised within the first year. That was another first on that. And doing that for about a year and a few months, I ran into some folks that were in the chamber, but also associated with the Main Street program, and said, I ought to see what's here. And I looked at the chamber and I said, why am I doing all this work by myself as the one person, where I can work with a team of people and have more reach than just a certain small sector of the city, that we can work in a regional area. And had a meeting with them, and started about 2 weeks after I had that meeting, and worked my way up kind of through the chamber. As the time came, there was an opportunity that they were wanting to bring a president role back in, and I was the clear choice for that. And I've been in that role now for, what are we, 7 years on that? I've been there.
Really?
Been at Chamber since 2013, and it's 10 years now. So about 6 or 7 years as the president and CEO, and went through COVID, and we're back. We've been back. We never shut down. In fact, that was one of our strongest times. So, but
did you actually see growth during COVID with the chamber?
We didn't see growth, but we had the best retention that we had in the 10 years that I've been in the chamber.
Yeah, which is really as important as growth, keeping the people on.
Yeah.
And you had a challenge through COVID, but outside of that, chambers in general, I think they're almost the unsung heroes at times. And I'd love for you to kind of highlight, what does that mean? What does a chamber of commerce mean? What is that? And maybe someone who's never thought about it before, they might get their juices flowing.
So I'm going to start with a little bit of a history of all chambers.
Oh, I love this. All right.
So chambers of commerce have started way out, like back in France, 1700s, even
Is
way
that
back.
right?
A long time. I don't have the exact date. I don't have the wonderful book in front of me there. But they started back to help businesses, to kind of be an association for businesses to have a voice, especially here in Florida. The Florida Chamber was put together to have a group of people to have a voice up in Tallahassee. Chambers do not lobby for candidates. They can't. That's not in your charter, not in your bylaws that you can do anything like that. You can be an advocate for issues that support business, but not for specific candidates. That gets very muddy, and at that point, you need to separate and have a PAC to do that. But so chambers are usually very business focused. They're focused for businesses. And chambers in the past have done some amazing things, like the Golden Gate Bridge. It was the chambers of commerce from the Oakland and over in San Francisco that got together, said we need a better way to get across the channel here than by boat or ferry. And they helped to build the Golden Gate Bridge. They helped to finish the Panama Canal because they saw the business aspect of commerce coming through from California over to the East Coast instead of having going down around the Horn of
That's amazing. I have never heard that.
I know, right?
That is amazing.
So there was a big stalemate at some point. There was a lot of malaria and a lot of issues, and there was they needed funding to finish this project, and the chambers of commerce on both sides of the country got together to raise money to finish that project because they understood how that would help the commerce side of things for business. And so really from the start, chambers of commerce are here for the business to be that advocate. And a lot of people think, advocacy is just in Tallahassee or at the local government level. And that is a huge piece. But we're also here to support your business. And how do we get you throughout? And that's really what the East Orlando Chamber focuses on, is your businesses. How do we help you get to where you need to be? Whether that's referring folks or helping them with a business issue or a problem. Everybody in our staff has come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Like I said, my background comes from a lot of different levels of business, seen many different ways, looking at things and helping people walk through that. Because a lot of folks in small businesses or startups come to a chamber and to kind of get things going. And the chamber, I like to say, is, at least us, is really that next step. If you're just starting out, you got to find out your clients and have a few things there, because it is an investment in your business. But you have to be ready for that next step to grow and start bringing that in, because sometimes people come in and they just can't handle the volume of people that are starting to get to them because they're not there yet.
Right.
But that's one of the things with that. And so that was a little history of the Chambers of Commerce, but they're really here as an advocate to help businesses, let them have a voice. I've been to Tallahassee. I've been to our local BCC meetings here to present issues that are supportive of businesses here in Orange County, to support what they're trying to do here. If there's an issue to an industry or specific development, or if it's a specific, like we supported Brightline Trains to help get them open here in Central Florida. And they had some hurdles that we had to go up and do some lobbying, or not lobbying, but advocating for, I should say.
So if a young business, an emerging business, wanted to join the chamber, what would that look like for them?
Well, it's an investment of dollars. I mean, like I always...
So there's a cost to join.
There's a cost to join because you're part of a member group. So you're part of that family, I like to call it, with our chamber. But there is that initial investment. There's an investment of time. So you need to keep that in mind. As James and I have talked, and we have a huge bucket of opportunities for you, but you don't have to do everything that's in that.
Yeah, you have a lot of events.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you have opportunities. And I'm a firm believer, and we talked about this too, is, people want to do business with those that they like, know, and trust. And, you can go online and Google somebody for a service. But if you're really looking for a financial planner, or if you're looking for an insurance agent, you can just call somebody up and do the work yourself. But it's so much easier when somebody can refer somebody to you because they've used them, they know them.
Absolutely.
Or when you've built that trust by meeting them in person, because you may not need somebody's product or service today, but you might down the road. And so
that actually panned out for us too. Some of the professional services that we use are people that we met through the chamber.
And I think, it's building those relationships. I think a lot of people come in and people call, chambers are just about networking. And, I use this, coined the term, networking's one letter off from not working, because people think if I go hand out a bunch of business cards at an event, I'm going to get all those people calling me. It doesn't work that way. It's really, you got to have that trust. I mean, do you just Google the doctor and say, that's who I'm going to go to the doctor? Or do you try to ask friends, hey, who do you go to? Where do you go? Do you like them? If it's a dentist, because somebody's retiring or something, where do you go? Do you like them? Do they seem fair in pricing? You want that relationable action happening. And that's what the chamber, I think, helps facilitate. Besides the aspect of the marketing aspects of things, that you can get your name out in front of things. To go down that rabbit hole, 74% of consumers will do business with somebody they've seen their name on some type of sponsored event, or in front of, or branded on something that's there, that helps folks to get seen. Because if you're not being seen, people don't know who you are.
Yeah, and in addition, it provides legitimacy.
Yes.
This is a real company. They're a serious company if they've gone to this trouble.
And you have an organization like our chamber, has been around for now 77 years, 1946, that you have an established organization that has reputation, that's there, that provides that legitimacy, that if somebody's a fly-by-night company, first of all, they're not going to necessarily dump money into their business, to promote it or to go to something. Because I'll tell you, and James, you probably know this, if somebody does something wrong, it'll go by wildfire within everybody in the chamber. So it makes sense to make sure that, the people that are in a chamber, I would say 99% of them are a very legitimate business, and they have a very good backup. They're investing in their business. So you know that they've already, in a sense, been vetted because they're in the same boat as you. There's already a commonality that when you have a conversation with any one of those members, hey, I'm a member of the chamber too. We're both in the same family. We're both in the same boat.
And it provides an accountability as well.
Exactly.
You treat me fair because we're in the same chamber.
Yeah. And, I'm not going to gouge you. Look, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And I think it just provides a great opportunity to get visible in the community within the others. It is a lot, different chambers have different goals and things like that. Some of them are very community related. Some of them are more business like ours. Some chambers, it's the big thing is that they're the community organizer of the fireworks for 4th of July or the big taste of the town or whatever it might be, which brings consumers out. But that's another way to go business to business or your business to a consumer. But at the end of the day, every person is a consumer. Mm-hmm. It's just, do they need your product or service and at what time? But you need to be top of mind. And that's what I feel a chamber can help you do, is to get that exposure that you need to get out in front of the people that will eventually or may eventually need your product or service.
I find the other benefit is that, especially for us, because not everyone has a hole in their drywall all the time, right? But there's multiple tiers of networking that have happened because of the time that we invest in our family at the chamber and at other networking organizations. We are now crafting and developing additional sales staff, basically people I know that if, Andrew, you see something drywall related, I know because I get texts and I get emails from you that you're out there advocating for us, not just because you're the president of the chamber, but because you're part of a network of people that you do know, like, and trust. And so it's to look at an event like this or an organization like this very narrowly, that what business am I going to get directly from that, I think is a little shallow-minded, a little narrow-minded. It's not about the ROI. It's going to cost me X number of hundreds of dollars. I'm part of the chamber, and I better get at least X number of thousands of dollars from this. It's not that kind of marketing. Mm-hmm. It's really developing your brand, building relationships with people so that when they run into something that could relate to you, that you are the top of the line marketing.
Yeah. And it's comfortable to refer you.
Mm-hmm. And that's where, when I use that term family, is, who do you go? It's your network. Mm-hmm. That's where the not working becomes your network. And that's where I believe the chamber really helps facilitate building your network, building those professional relationships, building that trust factor, because you're seen, you're out there, you've got something. I mean, I jokingly say we had a hole in the hall of our office. I think we almost plugged the hole with the business cards we kept sticking in there for a hole in the wall to let them know to fix this hole in the wall. Because I was like, it was an eyesore. We're in a complex, and it's like, who's going to fix this thing? And we'd tape one up there and tape another one up there, and pretty soon it was patched with hole in the wall.
The hint. When I was in college years ago, part of their training for us to release into the wild was, listen, you have to build your network. You don't get jobs by sending out resumes most of the time. You get your jobs by building a network. And I had no idea what that meant. I was like, what does that mean, network? Mm-hmm. And so, of course, here I am, a young guy. I didn't know what that meant. But now I look back and realize that I think I've gotten one job from a resume my entire life. Yeah. Outside of that, it's been relationships and people referring me in just ways that I kind of know people, and, it's a good fit. You know what? I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to jump over there. Mm-hmm. And in business, it's the same way. You have to build your network. You have to figure out what is going to be my family for networking, because that's how you build your local ground covered, your ground roots,
your
grassroots.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tongue-tied there. And I didn't realize how important it was until probably a few years ago when we started. And I realized if we go back and actually look at the people who touch our business, the business that we've gotten from other networking organizations in the chamber, it really has built who we are today based on. So what's the secret sauce in starting a business? What's the secret sauce in building your network? Well, this is part of it. This is something that's really essential.
Yeah. And like I said, you have to be ready to grow. You have to, if you are still trying to figure out how to keep the lights on, mm-hmm. I would say put your initial cost into your business first. Because if you don't know how you're going to pay yourself or keep the lights on if you have a brick and mortar, that's more important at this point in time. But when you are established to the point where I need to start growing, I need to start building the brand, I've got a client that's helping me, that's kind of supporting the business. Now I'm ready to go open the doors for that. But you got to be ready for it, because you've got to work it too. You can't just, hey, I joined the chamber, sit back, and I'm going to get referral.
No, it's so true. This is one of the conversations we're having recently regarding franchising. They understand that they're buying a business in a box. Things mm-hmm. are well thought out. We're starting them as a franchisee on second base, instead of having to get a hit from home plate and get things going. But some individuals will have a tendency to want to sort of hide behind the brand. Mm-hmm. And we try to encourage them to get out and be a member of the Chamber of Commerce or a business group, be in front of the brand, because not only are you the franchise brand, but you have a personal brand that you're out there. That's what the networking does. That exposes your personality and your services and to the greater public, and people get a chance to get to know you.
Yeah.
So,
and that's, like you can have a great logo, a great company name, but if you're not out working it, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to grow.
Yeah. You have to be out in front of it.
You're not a McDonald's franchise that people are coming because they know the brand. And so you've got to build that network, because like you said, with especially hole in the wall, it's not like I have holes in the wall coming up all the time that I'm calling you every week and we have a regularly scheduled service, unless if I was maybe an apartment complex or something of the sort. But you've got to work it. You have to work, no matter what business it is, whether it's a franchisee, whether it's you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, a team, or working for a large conglomerate. You've got to be out there. You've got to be top of mind. I mean, when you look at the trustees or the big names that are with chambers, they join chambers to make sure that they're top of mind. Why do you think in Orlando Health or Advent Health or HCA is at that top tier? Because they want you to know that they are the top of mind. So you may not have the investment for all of that exposure. So then you have to work it organically, that grassroots where you're knocking on doors, meeting people, but then making sure you find the right event or the right opportunities for you to get in front of the targeted market that you're looking for. So we talked a little bit about like the real estate.
Right.
It makes sense. That's where a lot of people need help. Realtors walk into the house, do a walkthrough. Oh, but you have 2 holes in the wall. That's going to knock down $10,000 on your home. But for a couple $100, we can get that fixed for you. And where do we go? So you want to be that person that you say, well, I have somebody in my network. I have somebody that I know, I trust, that I can refer.
Yep.
And then finding the right folks, because, there are, depending on what your product and service is. And that's where, whether you come to the East Orlando Chamber or you're in a different market and you have chambers there, talk to the staff. The staff know the members. The staff know the events. The staff should know where is the best place for you to go to network. We try to help our members. We do Spark sessions, one-on-one sessions with members. We try to get out there to help them find the right niche. Come up with a marketing plan. What's your strategy? Where do you want to be? Because we were talking to this, James, we could keep you busy all week, but then you're not paying the bills and you're not doing something.
There's plenty of events out there to keep you busy, for sure.
So you can't just work the events. You got to also do the work. And then the other piece that people forget about is they go to an event, they get a half a dozen cards. It's a follow-up. How do you follow up? People need to make sure they do that aspect. Follow up with an email. Hey, it was great to meet you. I say when you're introducing somebody is say, hey, if you know they're part of the chamber, is to say, hey, I'm an East Orlando Chamber member. I see you are too, so that it cracks that door open that you can have that commonality. And don't always make it about yourself when you're networking. Make it about them and talk to them about what they do, because nobody wants to just be sold, going around and say, you have a hole in the wall? Have a hole in the wall? We don't want that. They want to, talk to them and then, it'll come back to you. What do you do? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's so good to know, because, every once in a while that will pop up. Let me have your card so I can keep it in that special spot that when the need arises, I know who to call.
Right. Ready to start your own business? How would you like a jumpstart? Hole-in-the-Wall Drywall Repair is now offering franchise opportunities for strong entrepreneurs. When you franchise with Hole-in-the-Wall, we help you get up, running, and ready to start generating revenue fast. You get access to our comprehensive training program, continued support, and our proven business model that has allowed us to experience explosive growth. Achieve financial success while providing a valuable service to your community. Take the first steps towards achieving your entrepreneurial dreams. Go to holeinthewallfranchising.com. I think there's a couple other added benefits, is that even if you're a little shy, even if you don't have a ton of experience in networking and getting in front of people, the chamber's a really safe place to go to even dip your toes in the water. Because if you go to something that's like a coffee club or something that's a little more casual, it's okay. You can be a little awkward. People are going to engage you. And then you now learn from seeing and hearing other people. And then you go to those events not trying to be sheepish, but to be willing to learn how to grow. And you grow as an individual and a business person, whether it's a business development person or a salesperson or it's your company. It's a great place to kind of get started. The other benefit is there are things that are available that you didn't know you needed, right? Like, heck, I need a business card. Well, the chamber has multiple people that you can then vet to help create business cards for you. Well, I don't know how to design one. Good, because we've got people at the chamber that can help you. I need a sign for a banner. Great, we have people that can help you with that. I'm going to do an expo. I need to have a banner made. We did a franchise show this past weekend, and we had this QR code that we needed on a tabletop banner. I needed it immediately. Well, what did I do? I called Sinorama, who's a member of the chamber, and I said, listen, Ben, I need this. I need it within a week. He says, no problem, got you covered. Uploaded, it was done. Right. Because of that relationship, I knew not only that Ben could do it, but he had the machinery in house. He wasn't going to outsource it because of the relationship that I knew between that, us and that company. I knew they could handle my request at a faster time. And so those are things that we need as business owners that we don't know we need until we get that experience to be out there in the public.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do, especially in an emergency event, you're going to Google and, you're sitting there. Can they do it? Are you paying for it? But you have a relationship with somebody. That's half the battle, that you can make that personal phone call and then have somebody go, yeah, we can do that for you. And here it is. And, you still have to do your due diligence, vet the companies yourself, make sure that you have a comfort zone with those companies. Make sure they're in the price points that you want to be, because everybody does have different prices for different things. Some might be better at one area and not in the other. And so I always say due diligence. Sometimes you might have 2 or 3 folks that you do business with, or you just say, hey, look, they've got all my business. Right. But you built that relationship that you can make that call. And if somebody has that relationship with you, they're willing to bend backwards to say, look, you know what, I'll put production on something that's not right off so that I can get it to you. Where you go online, you're just another number, you're just another client online, and this is when we can have it. Or if you want it sooner, you're going to pay an extra a lot of money to get it to you by that time. And probably if it's not local, you're paying for a lot of shipping to get it there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you mentioned Spark sessions. I'm just curious if someone doesn't know who the chamber is and what are some of the things that you offer a business when they get started with you? What are some avenues and some things that you can do? I know we have events, but maybe you can just hit the highlight reel of kind of some of the things that are opportunities that we talked about.
So we do a number of different things, I think, that kind of help differentiate ourselves. We have one-on-one opportunities with staff. We have the opportunity where we have our brain trust, where we bring in 4 to 5 other businesses, kind of like a small mastermind group to talk about issues that you may be having. Could be lead generations. We had a great story from that. One of our members in the past had a partner that pulled out. I mean, this was, what we say, what stays in the room says in the room, but this is kind of a neat story where, he pulled out that onion and he had a bunch of clients on the hook that he was going to either have to refund, which he didn't have the dollars for, but he needed a venue. He needed actually a baseball diamond. And by 5 o'clock that afternoon, I get a call back, and one of the guys in that room found that his church had a backstop on a field in the back that they used for parking, usually for church services, that with a load of dirt and a weekend worth of elbow grease from all the kids that were there, made a baseball diamond out of that. The church was happy, got a baseball diamond out of it for now their picnic days and things like this that just got overgrown. And he had a place and didn't have to refund these families the investment that they made. And that came out of other people and people willing to take the trust in other folks. So we do that. We do our academies where we walk through all of the things that you can get and how to utilize the chamber. We'll work with you if you're looking for a plan, if you're looking for opportunities with that, whether it might be a sponsorship or if it's just, hey, how do I get through that? We try to make sure that our businesses know, if you're looking for somebody, if you come to an event, I mean, James, you've had that where we're pulling you aside to, hey, I need you to meet so-and-so, so-and-so. So getting to know the staff or the ambassadors of the chamber, that can help open those doors. But when you're top of mind, when you hear something, that's where the magic happens. And I think that's what one of the differentiators from us is, that we really go out of our way to try to help connect our members. I've had folks, I talked with somebody yesterday. She says, I'm looking to meet so-and-so, so-and-so. And I said, you know what? There's due to come in here at 3:30. I said, stick here for another 10 minutes. There they came. She goes, this was a better meeting than I needed to have with you. It was, I just had a 5-minute, they were dropping something off, and they had set up a lunch and they were ready to go. And they found that there was a synergy between the two of them, that they can help each other out. And that's where, when you build those relationships, it really is there. And being intentional, just don't try to blanket everybody, but be intentional. Who do you want to meet? And then identify that. Go through the database, go through the membership list, and who is somebody that's a connection. And then how do we help make that connection? Do you know where they like to go to? Do they go to just luncheons? Do they go to coffee club? Which one do they go to? So now I know where to find them. Look at the attendance on the events to see if they're going to be there, if they signed up for it, especially if it's a paid event. Most people are going to come because they put dollars down for it. I need to be at that event because that's my lead. That's who I'm really trying to get to build that relationship, that it may be worth that $40 lunch or something that may be out there for somebody but be intentional and not just try to blanket everything. Be specific of who you want to be, and then utilize the members and people that are there. And when you're talking to someone, do you know so-and-so, so-and-so, or do you have somebody that's in real estate? Do you have somebody that's in financial planning? Who do you trust? Who do you know? And utilize that as your lead generator to build that relationship and to ask. And don't be afraid to ask. I've seen that too, is where people said, well, I've gotten to be such a good friend with them. I'm afraid. I said, ask them for their business. They're looking for business and you're looking for business. Ask them. Well,
Right.
They're a friend. I said, do they come over for Saturday dinner? Do they go to the ballpark with them? Do you go to the, well, no. I said, well, then how close of a friend are they? Ask them. And then, somebody would come back and go, oh my gosh, I just landed that client. And I'm like, they're there. If you think they need your product and service, ask them. Don't be afraid to do the business ask. And then again, follow up, because that's where it can fall into that gray area. I got these cards, but what do I do with them? You've got to make sure that people know you.
Right. One of the great events that we do every year is you have this wonderful business expo, right? We just finished that a couple months ago, right?
Yes, we did.
So the East Orlando Chamber, we have the yearly and annual business expo. Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, we do that in August. And this past year, we had 145 exhibitors there, or businesses that had a table of one way or the other.
It was crowded. I can attest to that. It was busy.
It was another great show. It's an impactful 3 hours with that. But that's where we give our members an opportunity to showcase what they have, their products and services. Because you may get a business card, but you really don't know what they do. Mm-hmm. Just because their name may not describe exactly what their product or service is. So now you can kind of see it. They have a display or they have information and you can talk to them a little bit more. One of our members said what they love about the Business Expo, it's like the one time a year they can see the most members in one spot at the quickest point in time. And, it's an impactful 3 hours. We overtake DoubleTree Hotel, basically everything from the lobby to the restaurant, to the bar, to the hallways, to the back foyer, to the ballrooms. And it's intentful. And with that, we tell folks, look at the list and who do you want to meet? And then go intentful to go seek out those businesses. But we have some fun with it. We give away a $500 gift card to those that are playing the bingo card to go see businesses that are on those. I know you guys have been on that for a number of years, and it's a great way to drive traffic to you so that they know you. And, there's all kinds of fun giveaways, and great food and beverage is always flowing. I mean, You guys had I think you're next to Barrios this past time, hanging out with the margaritas and the.
They were right next door to us. It was quite convenient.
Quite convenient, yes. But it's a great way to show that our businesses have an opportunity to showcase what they do and what they have. And then I know you enjoy the after party, and we get 50, 60, 70 people sometimes at that just spill over for continuing the networking and to have some cocktails and more food and beverage. And
yeah, what I love about the expo is it allows you to see. Listen, we're in a home sphere. We are a home service brand, and you think, well, what kind of businesses would even want to join the chamber? And then you go to the expo and you realize Oh, it's everybody.
Mhm.
It's financial advisors.
Yeah.
It's
If you're in business, it's for you.
It's any business. I mean, even educational things. I mean, Duke Energy. I mean, these are all people that like. Why would I'm now in the same network as the same person who has these other businesses. I would never relate to these people at all. But now I get to be in a place and part of the same chamber, part of the same event. And it's kind of nice that you get a chance to kind of do life with those people at that one event for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it leads me, how big are we? I mean, how big of a chamber are we?
So we're about 522 members, I think the last time I looked. And there were a couple more that came in last evening. So it's growing. So it's a good manageable number. We're at a kind of like a crossroads as businesses go, where, we need to figure out how do we add staff and make it all work so that we can still provide the service that we promise and where we want to go with that. So that's about where we are, but we cover 440 square miles of East Orange County, basically east of I-4 all the way to Brevard and then Seminole down the Osceola. We try to do focus things. We were here. We do a coffee club in Lake Nona. We have one in Waterford Lakes area, one near downtown. We do our luncheons in different zones with that. So we fluctuate, trying to help make sure that we're not just centric to one area. We try to cover many. So the nice part with that is it brings different people out to different things where, hey, I don't want to drive across town. Not everybody wants to come down to Lake Nona and fight the traffic sometimes. So like we have things in different areas. So we try to be mindful of where our members are and what we have. And so we're excited about the growth and where we're heading. We've got a great sales team on that, and we've got a great team all together. I keep knocking on wood, keeping them together. But I think you guys know them well. They're all personable. They're out there working it and trying to help members. I think that's where, once again, we're here for our clients, for our members, for how do we give back and what are we doing for our members? Because if you guys aren't successful, when I say that, when our members aren't successful, we're not successful. And I think it's important to keep that front and center as you move forward in an organization like ours.
Do you have any current projects or issues, or what's on the horizon, things you might be advocating for or campaigning or championing?
We're working right now. It's going to be a political season, so we do advocate. We do try to provide that nonpartisan opportunity to be able to meet candidates. So that's coming up in Horizon 2024. That's a big one. We've got some new events that we put together for things, just so not that we needed more for the bucket, but we wanted to bring some stuff back that we haven't done in a while that offers some opportunities. So with that, we have our Connect Her conference, which is great it's a half-day workshop experiential with women leaders. And you're basically, if you're a woman in business, we call them, I think we have 7 Connect Hers or Influence Hers, which are C-suite level women. And you have an opportunity to sit at a table with them through different activations for about an hour of a time to get to hear their story, to ask them questions of how they got to where they are, to help you with your personal and professional development. So that's one that I'm really excited about that's coming up at the end of the month. Our newest one that we're bringing back is our awards, which we've done in the past, but we're really changing it up for 2024. We have partnered with and now have secured the Orlando Opera or Opera Orlando, the Orlando Philharmonic, and also the Orlando Ballet. And we're working on a couple more that will be coming to that, which will be performing throughout our event's performance. We have Orange TV that will be recording it to go live through their avenues on that. And then a couple other media partners that are looking to pick up some things on that, but it's a full red carpet Tony Award type experience with a cocktail hour beforehand and a dessert VIP reception afterwards, meeting the recipients of the awards. And
it
also
sounds impressive.
And what we've done different for this year is we've opened it up to also the community. So we have community awards that we're giving away too. So folks that want to jump in on that to sponsor something or to be on that to present an award have a much broader reach than what we'll have with just the chamber itself. So we really try to think out of the box and how do we make something bigger and better than what it is, and how can we really provide that avenue and those folks to be a part of something.
Well, Andrew, as we wrap up, I was curious, do you have any other final words of wisdom for business owners as we get closer to the end of the year?
I think the best thing to do is just look at your budget, give us a call. We can see to find out what the best fit will be for your company. and look off to kick off 2024 with a great opportunity for you to get out in front of people to help your business grow. So I think that's really the focus that I have for anybody that's listening on board, to really consider it, talk to us, feel it out. There's a lot of different methods and a lot of different organizations and associations, but find the right one that's the right fit for you, is really the thing is. And you test drive cars, you lay on mattresses, you sit on couches before you buy them. Do the same thing. Ask the chambers, come see us. We'll be glad to invite you to something. Try it out and see if it's the right fit. Do you like the people? Do you like the folks? Do you like the atmosphere? And make sure it's the right fit for you, and we'll go from there.
Right on. Absolutely. Well, if someone wants to get a hold of you in the chamber, what's the best way to do that?
So our website's at EOCC.org. So you can find us there. You can call the office at 407-277-5951. If you go to the website, look at the calendar, come meet us up at one of the events, because we're not always in the office. We're extremely active. So it's a great way to find us. But give us a holler. Our email, you can email our box there at EOCC@EOCC.org, and somebody will get back to you on there. Come check us out. We'd love to see you and learn about your business.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Angie, for coming in. It was a great show. We learned a ton. I learned a ton, even though I'm a member of the chamber. So thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
thank you all. Really appreciate it.
Great show, everybody. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.